To start with, I need everyone to help me. Please, everyone, take a very deep breath, like hold it, breathe out. Did you cough? I seen you know didn't. So it's good you don't have coronavirus, but if you did, all these nice things on the picture would cure you definitely. I hope you understand that everything that I was saying is fake news, but actually a lot of people don't understand that. And these are very widespread fakes that were popular across all of our region in the times of pandemic. The task of my think tank was to see how these narratives are spreading, who, how, and why is using this coronavirus coordinated disinformation campaign, but most importantly, how the countries are responding if they are able to withstand this disinformation. So we are working in this issue with 7 countries. Before we had 14. And in 2018, our disinformation resilience index shows that Estonia was the most resilient to disinformation because they realized that they were the target for disinformation campaign Russian one, namely in early 90s, and started working on that in early 90s. The weakest points were for Moldova and Belarus. Now we wanted to see if our theoretical analysis has anything to do with practice, and if these resilience scores were actually reflected in the response of how countries reacted to coordinated disinformation campaign related to coronavirus. First of all, why we think that this campaign is coordinated? Because we see the same pattern followed in all 7 countries we are looking at. So in the first pictures, you saw health-related fakes, and they were very popular in the pre-pandemic times when all this just started. And this is very natural because COVID is something new and there were information gaps. But later on, we see the very new type of narratives being more popular and prevailing. These are the narratives of a conspiracy theories. And this is how, when the fakes are becoming to be weaponized. In this stage, this is a very good illustration of one of the narratives popular. It appeared simultaneously about 3 countries in our region, Georgia, Ukraine, and Romania. And it says that coronavirus actually originated in our countries and was created in our labs run by United States. And we see that these are old good narratives that were used by Russia for a long time, that our states are failing, that European Union is collapsing, and the United States is behind all of this. And they are working because trust for authorities is falling. So what should our governments do to prevent this disinformation from spreading? The first step should be providing accurate information where possible, and most of the countries coped with this task very well. They created special websites, special chatbots even, and it worked for all countries in the region but for Belarus. In Belarus, actually, the president himself became the source of disinformation, and you can see here Mr. Lukashenko playing hockey in the outburst of pandemic and saying that a tractor, that a butter and vodka will cure everyone. But there was also different approach how governments reacted. It's imposing restrictions. In Ukraine, over 2,000 social media pages and personal accounts were blocked for spreading disinformation about coronavirus. Websites were also blocked in Moldova, Romania, and Georgia. And the other reaction of governments is to use the pandemic for crackdown on opposition. Here you see how the activists in Azerbaijan were, dozens of them were detained for spreading disinformation or violating quarantine. These cases are condemned by international human rights organizations and considered to be censorship. Imposing restrictions on freedom of media and blocking websites has has not been proved as effective way to find disinformation and corona-related disinformation as such. There is another important actor that has huge influence in our region, it's church, and most of the confessions supported government's activities and called upon their parishes not to attend services, but there were few very bright examples how the church became the source of disinformation. In Orthodox Church in Moldova, which is subordinated to Russian Orthodox Church, they spread the popular conspiracy theory saying that vaccine against coronavirus is a satanic plan to microchip people, and they threatened the prime minister that he will be taken off the payrolls of the church. In Ukraine, the honorary patriarch claims that a pandemic is a punishment for homosexuality, and just a few days later, the biggest monastery in Ukraine was locked down because most of its priests and monks were diagnosed with coronavirus. So the story of COVID-related disinformation has no happy ending for now. It is to be continued. It is obvious that fakes and manipulated information is instrumentalized in geopolitical games, and the only way for our countries not to be subject of such games is to build up resilience. Only yesterday, Russia announced to be the first in the world to approve coronavirus vaccine. Russian soldiers served as volunteers in human trials, despite concerns about the safety and effectiveness and whether is not or not this vaccine is fake news. We should consider that Russia is already playing this information card to demonstrate its power on international arena. So stay in touch. The actual results and the actual scores where we will be able to compare all 7 of our countries in their disinformation resilience will be out in early September, and I will be sure to share them with you. Check your facts and stay healthy.